was in class, was in rehearsal, was in things that no one will ever have record of. And you have to, come to grips with that. So I'm saying it's a job that doesn't pay. So I won't ask your age outright.
If you want money, work in a whorehouse. If you want respect, do a Star Trek movie.
But
there's the soundbite.
That's nice. The question begs: are you going? This is your inspirational moment. This is the time, where you say, did you just plug away at the roadblocks, or did you believe in the certain, a craft? Like, were you so theater on stage or so film acting, diehard that you felt it was worth the necessary slings and arrows of a career in this field?
Well, I think filmmaking is just, you have to learn it's like a new set of tools, basically. It's a new skill set. I mean, there's obviously a lot of similarities between the two, but having been almost exclusively a stage actor and then doing film or whatever, screen, it's very different. But the roadblocks, I mean, obviously you go out there with a certain degree of naivete because you've never done it before. But you don't realize how many roadblocks there are, or the roadblocks in order to get to the next roadblock.
Yeah, as handsome
you have
as
to remember,
you are.
there's 7 billion people in Los Angeles. And how many of them are actors?
And how many of them?
All of them.
One of them.
And they all look like you.
Not all of them. 5,000 of them look like me.
Yeah,
or something like that. And some of them are a lot better and a lot younger. And so it's just
But I mean. Do you just use the advantage of... Where does experience factor into just being there? Because it's not always just about luck. Yeah, for sure, there is something to do with talent.
Once you get lucky, you got to pick up the ball and run with it. Yeah.
So you're saying that maybe...
Is it, it's like you hear the story about George Clooney sleeping in his car in L.A. When he went out there. And that's the question. I mean, it's like how much determination does it take to get to luck? Like,
that's a way to phrase that.
How much? How many chips do you have to bet before?
That's a biography title right there.
Lucky doing what was because one of the things I ran into was, do I want to do this? I mean, was I out there long enough to actually have and forge a career? No, but I was out there long enough to realize this wasn't what I wanted to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
What made you think that? Where did you have that?
Well, in 2008, the economy tanked. No, but it was also just as I started to have an understanding, a very shallow understanding, granted, of the industry. It wasn't really something I wanted to devote my life to, and I think you absolutely have to want to be willing to devote your life to doing that. Until you finally realize I've got nothing left and I'm going somewhere else and I'm doing something
and
else.
Even then, you're getting driven there in an 89 Caddy by someone that did devote their life to it wholeheartedly. Sure. Fucking Mickey Rourke without the luck.
Yeah.
And without the dentures, he's just like, hey, man.
Yeah.
I'm going to play a boxer.
Yeah.
So do you just take those in stride and just hope? I mean, are you just keeping on the 5K and just watching them drop by?
A lot of it's the spaghetti method where you throw the pasta against the wall and eventually one of them sticks.
Yeah, my shit never stuck.
And and my shit never stuck either. So there's a problem.
I think,
but a lot of it's just constant networking and an
agent that's willing to stuff you in a meat truck. Apparently, because that worked out really cool.
And not just. And the thing is, there's there are actors that nobody knows and they don't get work, and there are actors that some people know and they do get work, and there's actors that a lot of people know and they get a whole lot of work. And the same is true with agents. You have agents that, if you call up, William Morris or whatever like that, they'll get
you something, but it might not be anything.
Well, if I was with,
but it is work.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be the one paying their rent.
Right. But you can at least, if nothing else, be that guy on Law and Order. It's on Law and Order today, Law and Order CI tomorrow, Law and Order SVU the next day.
You get to run the gamut.
He's on Monk the day after that. He's on Psych the day after that.
I was going to say, you're naming like 7.
It doesn't matter, but I'm just saying. They make the rounds.
They make the rounds.
You
the question is that first episode where he walks in and says, "It's here, sir." And that's his line. Yeah. Now, did he do that 2 years after he arrived in L.A., or did he do that 15 years after he arrived in L.A.?
And it's probably 15.
And when he was 2 years into it and it was 15, did he say, I'm willing to wait 15 years?
Yeah.
And, maybe he was, maybe he wasn't.
But when you finally see him making the rounds, he's, the killer or another detective or whatever, and you recognize him, and you go,
that guy.
But he's still not a that. He's not a that guy.
He's not
yet.
guy. Yeah.
He's a that guy by the end of that season when you've seen him on 7 shows in a row.
One day I'll be Richard Burton.
If he's lucky enough to be on 7 shows in a year, more power to him.
Because his agent got him a goodish part in a movie.
Well, his agent booked him the audition. He got the part.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
I would vaguely disagree with that. But that brings us to that's a beautiful segue. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Acting, to get the role. Usually you have to audition. Tim Roth is on record as saying that that's the worst fucking torture you could put anyone through. Tim Roth does not audition. He's merely handed deals because he's Tim fucking Roth.
Yeah.
But not everyone has that benefit.
Not everyone is Tim Roth.
Yeah, not everyone has that leverage.
Yeah, right? So
not everyone has that talent.
Your thoughts your thoughts and feeling on auditioning, because I got some. Mm-hmm. Let us then divvy it up and carve this audition turkey into small, digestible fragments.
Okay.
I got mine. You got yours.
Okay.
Nice little comparison. Maybe it's the same fucking thing. Mm-hmm. So go ahead. Auditions. How do you feel for film or for stage? Because I've done both, and they're equally.
Stage auditions.
I have my same thing.
I've never had any issue with stage auditions. It's always been just something fun to do. And film auditions, there's still the fun thing to do, but oftentimes with film auditions, you're sitting in the room, outside the room, for, well, it depends how long, and there's all these other people sitting there too, and they're either reading for your part or
it's like the beginning of a snuff film. If you've never auditioned
you really
for
have
film,
to be so focused and leave everything else in the universe outside, just because you've got your sides, and you do whatever you do. And different people
for
have
the camera,
different methods. This is before you go in front of the camera.
Oh shit, you're doing something else.
But then you go into the room and you have a table, and there are 3 people at the table. One of them is the reader. Yeah, and the reader's not an actor. The reader's a reader.
Yeah, you don't get any emotion at all from that shit.
Right.
So I heard you slept with Donnie.
So you have to you have to know how to respond to something that isn't
Donnie.
there.
How the fuck do you know Donnie?
How do you
I don't know. Donnie? I just met him.
Which Donnie?
Yeah, the Dick Ritchie scenario.
Yeah. So, but I guess what you said.
So you're very you're flighty about it.
A part of me is
which is a good attitude to have because it's just like it's what you got to do.
The word I think you're looking for.
It's just
flip it.
No, I wouldn't use flip it.
It's simply.
I like. It's simply. Come what may.
It's how do you get from point A to point B? You go through these steps.
There you go. We're doing the thesaurus.
I'm a word man.
Give me a Bud Light, would you?
There's a better word for it.
Bud Light. I'll pimp it all day, folks.
Yeah.
I love you, August Bush the 4th. Mwah. See, that's how you network.
And then
you have a Twitter account at @the_swan_man on Twitter.
That's it. That's how you network.
Yours is unpronounceable. No. So you're just totally cool. Like audition, you don't even. Yeah, I'm doing that Saturday. I'm doing 3. Because that's what I'm getting out of that, is that there's no... You have no defined...
I guess.
As opposed to what? Let me lay it on you.
Okay, yeah.
Because you're just like so cool about like, yeah, you do that and that's business. And that's how we do it.
Yeah. Well, that is business.
That is business, yes. Yeah. It's what you have to do to get the job. The job that means working.
It's your job interview.
And for me...
And it's usually your first of several interviews to get a job.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, so...
I know this so well.
Yeah,
I did. Yeah, I've done stage.
I'm not saying it's not nerve-wracking, because it certainly can be.
But it doesn't seem to scar you the way that I feel so scarred.
Oh,
I agree with Tim Roth in the fact that it is the worst thing I can go through, aside from like maybe a cold reading, but even then, because the gentlest way that it was ever put to me or anyone that I've ever heard about an audition. In the process.
I love cold readings.
I love cold readings to death, Tommy, but the problem is it doesn't matter. What is your truth, what is your art is irrelevant to the needs of, obviously, the director, the writer, whatever you are being cast, the casting agent. What you think is real and good for the character, it might not matter because you're short.
Okay, well, that's true.
Your eyes are the wrong color. It's all it's a whole mixed bag. I mean,
You don't look good with the other co-star.
You don't look good with the other co-star. Sure. But that's the problem. I tried, you try so hard. Mm-hmm. You memorize the sides. You do this work. You pour the character
But so did every other person who did that.
So did every person did it, but they suck.
But there you go.
That's the thing.
That's the problem.
It's agonizing because to some,
Yeah.
this is your lifeblood. This is the chance to earn food. This is the chance to at least work and prove to the world in some meager regard that you are worth paying attention to. And when they described, I love it.
It's a terrible reason to be an actor.
Well,
It's the reason that we all have, but it's a terrible reason to be an actor.
But the best way I heard for putting you down was, we were wanting desserts. All actors are desserts. We need Chips Ahoy. You were Oreo. And, like, that's a very kind way to put it. However...
no, but I got to interject something there, too.
That's an interesting way to put it. Yeah, I like that.
But,
it's nice.
I have to interject something there, though.
Goes down,
because I was, as I told you about seeing, David Prowse at Dragon Con.
Yes.
Yeah. One of the stories he told was when he was a bodybuilder initially. That's what he did initially.
Yes, he's a big fucker.
He was
Godly.
initially not. I mean, he was told by his agent that he had to quit. He couldn't be a bodybuilder. He was never going to win. And he was like, "What are you talking about? What do you mean I'm never going to win?" He said, "Well, your feet are jacked up. You got ugly feet." He said, "What are you talking about? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard." He said, "Well,
But it's true.
but the thing is, it's like, it comes down to you and some other guy that's just as cut
That's
as
got
you.
beautiful, cum-worthy feet.
Well, no, but it's just, if you come up against a guy who's just as good looking as you, just as cut as you, it comes down to the dumb details.
That's nice. That's a good story from Darth Vader himself, from the man himself. That's a good bit that ties into.
And then he went into, but then he, and I don't know how this parallels to performance, but oddly enough, he went into competitive weightlifting, which is about results, not looks. So there's, I'm going to throw that at you there.
But it's a controlled hell, especially when it's stretched out. Like an audition that's quick and dirty, sure, I still feel vaguely portrayed.
But the callbacks?
Callbacks, my nightmare scenario that happened, it was a callback for about a week and a half. And this is just, we're weeding people out, but not nearly at the pace that should be happening. Callbacks usually, if you don't know, it's 2 people are up for 1 role. Bah. And then we whittle it down. By and large, that's the hope. It's you and another guy, and you got to be better than them. It's you and another actor, you got to be better. You just got to bring it. And that's usually what callbacks, ideally that's what callbacks are. However, certain directors are terrible at making up their motherfucking mind. And my nightmare scenario happened to me. Because the callbacks lasted a week and a half, and there was a potential cast of like 75. It was a big show. But we had 3.
I was in?
No.
I want to name drop, but okay.
No, it was not the one you were in.
Okay.
I was already busy. I was busy pimping.
More venom,
I know.
and then I was there for a week, and they'd already picked Tommy.
No, that was the thing. I was with Dr. Theater at the time. I was studying. I was under the tutelage of a professor that was very good. Did the LA thing, but knew and understood how to impart the wisdom of being a character in an American way. Because I know it's very different, and everyone has their own way. The Stanislavski method and all these methods. Yeah. It's way different in Europe than it is in the States. The focus, like in Europe, it's in the body, and in America, more or less, it's in the mind. That if I have the mindset, the rest will follow. And in, again, Europe, it's held the belief that it's in the body, and then the rest will follow. Okay. Because obviously I'm hobbled.
You talk about which comes first, which comes
second.
Which
comes first, yeah.
Okay.
But it always is the same result. But that's where you get the classically trained people that I have this limp. And, the Daniel Day-Lewis shit where he doesn't brush his teeth, period. And he's cool with that shit because it's who the character is. He's embodying it that way as opposed to just through the mind and then that way maybe. But, yeah, physically and stuff, gabble-gooble.
Right?
Yeah.
It's, I guess, when you
That's
walk...
what I'm getting for this whole conversation anyway. So.
Yeah.
Go back to the audition process.
The audition process?
I think, I mean, in talking about before you get to the callback, I think the very initial audition, it's not about can you do a character, it's about can you make a choice.
Yeah.
And then after that, and my understanding is a common mistake a lot of actors make in callbacks is now they really want to show what they can do. And so they don't do what got them the callback. They do something else.
They put volume up on something
they
that
do
no
something
one wanted.
else, yeah, and so then they don't get the roles. But it's
But
it's.
I improved that character. I changed it, made it better.
Oh yeah, I was with Dr. Theater who taught me that. That's where we got into the. Yeah, I was like, where did Dr. Theater? Yeah. I missed the hanging chat on that. Yeah, So I worked really hard with Dr. Theater, a man I respect, a man that taught me more about acting than I had learned 2 years prior. He was the man.
Oh, no, yeah.
And
We've all got one
he
guy
gave
that's
me
like,
that blessing where it's just